SARM review. I'm Dan, the bodybuilder from Thailand. So, if you're going to do bodybuilding and you want to create lots of muscle, you have to manipulate your hormones, okay? So, I used S23. I'm an anabolic steroid user, to tell you, okay? But I did an experiment with S23, which is a SARM, and I did that without testosterone, okay? And I did that experiment to help myself learn more about what these things do. So I'm going to tell you about the results that I had with that, and I'm going to review it. The S23 Selective androgen receptor modulator. That's what SARM, S-A-R-M, stands for. It means that an androgen receptor is a hormone receptor. So the way that hormones communicate with your body is by connecting to androgen receptors. And you have to manipulate your hormones in order to have the kind of body you're looking for. If you're wanting to get, a really muscular, ripped body, like big ripped muscles, like big, full, bulky, lean muscles all at the same time, you have to manipulate your hormones. There's no other way. If anyone tells you anything else, they're lying to you and they're scamming you, okay? That includes other people on YouTube who are like well respected, or like IFBB pros on YouTube who talk about steroids or who talk about SARMs or whatever. If they tell you that you can get big, ripped, muscular, and lean at the same time without manipulating your hormones, they're lying to you. They're lying. Okay? If you don't want to believe me, you'll learn eventually. This is the way it is. This is reality. All right? So S23, I felt it on the first day that I used it. I used it for a little over a month, but I felt it on the first day that I use it. And the main effect that I get from it, the main most noticeable effects from S23 are emotional outbursts and sweating in the gym. So selective androgen receptor modulator, what does that mean? It means that it's working on the same receptors, the same system that your testosterone does, okay? Or the same system that anabolic steroids use to communicate with your body. So what a SARM is, what S23 is it's a synthetic chemical made in a laboratory that your body recognizes as and thinks is a steroid in certain tissues. Okay? It's selectively modulating androgen receptors. So, the main thing is that it really gets into your brain, dude. It really gets into your brain. Like, if you want to experience, like, roid rage, S23 does that, and it did it so potently with me, emotional outbursts, that I don't think that I could take S23 regularly and be like a normal member of society. Okay? It was very potent in its ability to have me overreact or quickly having emotional outbursts. It was a little bit weird. I was thinking of what steroid I would compare it to, and I would not compare the mental effects of S23 to testosterone, and I would not compare the mental effects of S23 to trenbolone. I would compare them to Anadrol. I get basically identical effects, mental effects, brain effects from taking Anadrol and from taking S23, okay? It made me very aggressive, okay? And that includes things like driving. That includes things like driving and being like cut off, things like that, okay? These are things that you'll normally, in high pressure situations where things come on you really quick, that's where the emotional outbursts come. The UPS man yelling at my dog, things like that, okay? Or getting cut off when I'm driving. And emotional outbursts that I'm not expecting. S23 effect for me, very potent S23 effect. And I would get it every day. I'd have an emotional outburst every day. The dosage I was using was, at first I was using 15 milligrams twice per day. And then I switched the dosage up to 30 milligrams twice per day. So a total of 60 milligrams. And that 60 milligram dosage was basically twice as potent as the 30 milligrams. Sometimes compounds, as you increase the dosages, the uh, the effects kind of like they plateau, right? So, like for example, if you're taking a 1,000 milligrams of testosterone per week, and you take 2,000 milligrams of testosterone the next week, it's not going to be the equivalent. Like the effect that you're getting from 1,000 milligrams per week, you're not going to be getting double that effect by taking 2,000 milligrams per week, because it has kind of like a tap out point. Like, yeah, it still does get stronger and stronger and stronger as you keep pushing the dosage up, but it's not like equally. It's not, 1,000 milligrams and then 2,000 milligrams being twice as strong. No, it's like a exponentially not as strong as you keep on going up. Uh, so with S23, the 30 milligrams per day was not hitting that saturation point, because once I got up to 60 milligrams per day, the effect was more or less doubled. It was more or less doubled as far as I could see. It was much stronger, very much stronger at 60 milligrams per day. And I liked it like that. So the other effect that I was getting that was really strong was sweating in the gym. Okay? So I was getting, your skin has a lot of androgen receptors. And as soon as I would get into the gym, I was sweating my ass off. Okay, just doing a couple of exercises, looking like I had just got out of the shower or just got out of the pool, and my entire body, shining, glistening. And I mean, it's kind of funny. Like, you can't look like that and like have people not know that like you're using something, right? So I mean, people already know that I'm using something, but when I'm in the gym, it's just kind of funny because it's like, well, there's that guy, looking like he just got out of the shower, his entire body glowing because it's wet with sweat, like I just jumped out of a pool. So, anabolic steroids do that in general, though. Like, the more steroids you take, the more you will sweat. Okay, and so I want to make this clear that the reason why SARMs work, and you can like kind of like reach your goals on them. Like, you won't reach the goals of, looking like uh, a bodybuilder that's like totally juiced up. You won't do that on SARMs, okay? But they are like the way that pro hormones used to be. So when pro hormones, it was like like 1AD or Ferroplex or Epistane, stuff like that, right? So SARMs are as strong. Well, some SARMs, and S23 is one of them, are as strong as that, right? But those things, they're not as strong as like gearing up and really. But it's like an intermediate point. So if a guy uses SARMs and does it like consistently, a natural will not be able to compare to him. It will take you to because it's working on your hormones. It's working on your hormone system. Your body thinks that SARMs are hormones. They're synthetic chemicals that are not hormones that your hormone receptors think are hormones. Okay, that's why they work. That's why they're able to get you bigger and like to a place where like naturally you could not get. This is the golden rule in bodybuilding that you have to remember. Bodybuilding is hormones. Bodybuilding is hormonal manipulation. When your hormones are right, you will be losing fat and gaining muscle at the same time. That's what bodybuilding is, okay? Guys that are like really ripped and like really big, it's not like a big bulking and cutting thing all the time. It's sort of like you're just getting your hormones right and then moving towards the goal. That's what bodybuilding is. It's heavily, heavily, heavily dependent on drugs. So, what's the strongest? Steroids. Human growth hormone, injectable, right? What is stronger than natural, but not quite taking that? Well, things like SARMs and MK677, right? So they're going to get you to that point where so I'm going to just tell you this. If I didn't use steroids, I would be using SARMs all the time, okay? Because they work, okay? It's not like creatine. It's not like protein powder. No. When you take these things, you're going to be noticing major effects that are steroid-like effects, okay? And you got to take the right ones, like Ostarine, LGD 4033, and S23 are the ones that I've used. That each of those grow muscle. They grow muscle like light steroids do. I can't tell the difference between LGD 4033, Ostarine, and S23. I can't tell the difference between that and a moderate light steroid like Turinabol or Anavar. It's identical, the effects, in my opinion, for my body and for the way that I feel. They are that potent as at changing your body and putting on muscle. So, man, I just think that it's like criminally underknown or something. A lot of people, like with the SARMs, they're trying to scam people and say that like, oh, the SARMs all like give the same effects as like injectable testosterone and injectable growth hormone. That's not true. That's not true. And I think because of those people trying to overhype them like that, that's why people like don't really know if they work or not, because there's been like a lot of lies and stuff regarding them. The truth is that these things are like prohormones. So if you take S23 and you're taking it 30 to 60 milligrams per day, and you do that for 4 to 6 weeks, you're good, and you're like plateaued, like you're normally natural, and you feel like, dang it, I can't get like bigger without gaining a bunch of fat, and then when I try to like cut, I lose all that bigger muscle that I gained from getting fatter, and then I get like skinny and ripped up again, or big and bloofy again, but not the way that I want to look, which is getting big, retaining the muscle, and being ripped and lean at the same time, So you can't do that naturally. And if you do that, if you add something like S23 in here, it will be like it's not going to do it on the way that steroids are going to do it, but it's going to do it in a way that is going to work, okay? It's going to work. Like if you're plateaued naturally, and you add these things, which is going to start manipulating your hormones, you're going to be making big gains again. And the guys that I know who use SARMs, they use SARMs only. They are bigger than naturals, and I don't think that they look natural at all. I think they look like they're on stuff. So this is testament to like what they do. With the S23, yeah, it was like, I mean, it's kind of like Winstrol or something. It's like, it's hard with these things to like say what the effect is, say what the effect is and compare it to other steroids, like maybe like in like the anabolicness, or like the amount that it can affect the appearance of your body. Something like Anavar or Winstrol at like 30 milligrams per day. That's what I got from 60 milligrams per day of S23 as far as the anabolic muscle building effects. And then, as far as the mental effects and the effects on my skin with sweating, it was at least equivalent to 50 milligrams of Anadrol per day. Like I said, the mental effects were extremely, extremely potent on S23. If you guys have more questions about S23, let me know, okay? And make sure to go to my website, bodybuilderinthailand.com. Read the articles that I've written for you, and I've written articles about this kind of stuff, about SARMs and stuff like this. If you watch this video and you want to know more, I heavily advise you go to my website, bodybuilderinthailand.com, and read the articles I've written for you.